In this video, I'll show you how to deploy n8n on a Kamatera VPS, create your first workflow, build an AI agent, and embed that agent on your website. Let me give you a run through or a summary of what we're exactly going to do in this video. We'll first start off by installing an n8n app image hosted on Kamatera's marketplace. Once we've got our cloud server up and running, we will need to log into it using the SSH protocol. We'll do that with a client of our choice. In the CLI window, we'll need to run some commands. The first command here is a Docker command that will stop the Docker container for n8n. Once the Docker container has stopped, we'll need to delete it. This is to remove the old default n8n Docker container that Kamatera pre-installs. After that, we'll need to run the following big block of Docker commands. This block of Docker commands will let n8n know its own address and start n8n with the correct settings. We will need to modify a couple of things though before we paste these commands into our CLI. Everywhere in the Docker command where it says server underscore IP underscore address will all need to be replaced with your n8n Kamatera VPS's IP address. I'll come back to that later. All these commands will be in the video description below so that you can copy and paste them for your convenience. Once the Docker container has been modified with the correct configuration, we'll log into our n8n instance's web UI. We will then need to create an n8n workflow. We'll be creating a workflow similar to this, but actually a lot simpler. I have a screenshot of an n8n workflow that I made previously, and we will be creating an exact carbon copy of this node workflow in our video demonstration. We will be building a simple AI agent workflow where you send a message, the agent is connected to an AI large language model. I'll be using one of Anthropic's API keys. You can, however, use any AI model provider. If you're also going to be using an Anthropic model, you will need to create a Claude console account and log into your account and then click on API keys. Of course, you will need to top up your balance. As you can see, I have about $1.90 currently in my account, so that should be more than enough for today's video demo. Once we've built our AI agent in the n8n workflow using various nodes, we'll then need to embed that agent in our website. Prior to this video's recording, I created a website on a different server called the Black Swan. I'll be embedding my AI agent chatbot on this simple one-page website using a HTML code snippet. With that summary out of the way, let's start the video. So first, open up your browser and navigate to the following URL address. This URL address is my referral link to Kamatera. It will give you $100 in free Kamatera cloud credits to try out their servers free for 30 days. I'll put my referral link in the video description below so that you can click on it for your convenience. You'll immediately be taken to Kamatera's self-hosted n8n landing page. Here you can get a bunch of information about hosting an n8n instance on Kamatera's cloud infrastructure. You can also get a price calculator, and if you have any FAQs, you may be able to get an answer on this landing page. Once you've finished browsing this landing page, click on Start Your Free Trial. Here is where you claim your 30-day free trial and your $100 in free cloud credits. You'll need to create a free Kamatera account by entering an email address, picking a password, and then simply clicking on Create Free Account. Now, I already have a Kamatera account, so I'm simply going to click on Login. Once you've logged in, you'll be on your Kamatera dashboard. In your dashboard, look to the left-hand side and click on My Cloud. Then click on Servers. You'll now be in Server Management. Here you'll be able to see all your Kamatera servers listed. Currently I have no servers found because I have no servers. To create your first server on Kamatera, click on Create New Server. Choose a zone or region and then a country for your VPS. Kamatera offers 5 continents. You've got Asia, Australia, North America, Europe, and the Middle East. For today's video, I'm going to be going with Asia, and I'm going to be choosing the country of Singapore. For the best response time from your AI agent, it is best to go with a server location that's closest to you and your customers, especially your customers or clients, as that's of course who the AI agent is going to be serving. The closer your server location is to them, the better the ping, the better the response time, and the lower the latency, so the messages and responses will get delivered quicker. Once you've chosen your country or region, scroll down until you see Choose an App Image. For the n8n app image, you'll need to click on Apps Images tab. Once here, scroll down until you find n8n. Once you've located it, click on it to select it. After selecting it, scroll up until you see where it says Choose Version. Click on the drop-down arrow to select a version. At the time of recording of this video, there's only one version of n8n on Kamatera. I'll be going with the n8n latest Ubuntu 24.04. Once you've selected that, scroll down until you see where it says choose server specs. Kamatera offers 4 types of servers. You've got server A for availability, T for burstable, D for dedicated, and B for general. A for availability and T for burstable are the most affordable server types. B for general is a step above in pricing, and D for dedicated is a whole different level. It's the most expensive, as you get dedicated hardware. For this video demo, I'm going to be going with A for availability. Now, to see the pricing of the specs that you choose, it's best to toggle on detailed view. Once you've done that, you can see all the prices. Now, for this video, I'm going to be going with the minimum specs required to run an n8n instance on Kamatera. So I'll be going with 2 CPU cores, 4 GB of RAM, and 50 GB of SSD disk space. You can go higher if you want, but it's best to start off small, and you can always scale up. Kamatera allows you to scale up quite easily. Once you've chosen your server specifications, scroll down until you see finalize settings. In the password section, enter a password, and then validate or confirm that password by entering the same password again. Now you'll need to give your server a name, so I'm going to call my server n8n-VPS. Once you've given your server a name, scroll down to the very bottom. The last thing you'll need to do is billing cycle and pricing. Now Kamatera is quite flexible. It offers 2 billing cycles. On the right hand side, you've got hourly billing cycle, where you can see the price per hour. So for me, with those specifications I have chose, it's about $0.027 per hour. And on the left hand side, you've got monthly billing cycle, and that's a fixed price for the whole month. For me, because this is a video demonstration, I'm going to be going with hourly billing cycle. However, if you know you're going to be running n8n for a whole month or more, it's best to go with the monthly billing cycle, as at least you know exactly what the bill's going to be at the end of the month. Once you've adjusted your billing cycle, all that's left to do is to create your server by clicking on Create Server. Your server creation will then be added as a task in queue. To see the progress of your server creation, simply click on Tasks in Queue, and then you'll see your server under Service. Mine is called n8n-VPS. The server is being created, and it's currently at a status of 60%. I'll be back with you once the virtual private server has been created and our status is 100% and says success. Okay, I'm back. Our server has been successfully created. I'm going to click on Tasks in Queue again just to minimize it so that we can see the full picture of our server management. We now have one server listed in here, and in my case, it's called n8n-VPS in the Singapore, Asia region. My server's IP address is 103.125.217.167. This is my server's IPv4 address. I've got 2 CPU cores type A, 4 GB of RAM, and 50 GB of SSD disk space. The server state of my server is currently switched on, as that's indicated by the green play symbol here. Now that we've got our server up and running, we now need to copy our server's IP address. To do this, simply click on the name of your cloud server. Once you've done that, you'll be in your server's overview tab. Here, look for where it says Public Internet IP and click on the Copy to Clipboard icon to copy it to your clipboard. So there we go, my IP address of my server is now copied. Next, to log into your server via SSH, you'll need an SSH client. Now I'm using a Windows PC, so I'll be using Windows CMD, also known as Command Prompt. However, if you're on a Mac or Linux PC, you can log in via SSH using the terminal app. So I'm going to open up CMD. To do this, I'm going to navigate to my search box and then I'm going to click on it. And then in the search box, I'm going to type CMD. My best match is the CMD app. I can either click here or I can click on Open to the right hand side. I'm just going to click on Open. My command prompt will then open. I'm just going to maximize it for better viewing. To tell CMD that I want to log in remotely via SSH to a server, I'll need to type the following command. Now it's the same command for Mac and Linux. I'll put this command in the video description below so that you can copy and paste it for your convenience. Type SSH space root. Root is the username of your n8n Kamatera server. It'll be the same for you. And then you're going to right click to paste in your server's IP address. Once you've done that, hit enter on your keyboard. Next, because I'm on CMD, I'm greeted with the following message. It says the authenticity of this host, my server's IP address, can't be established. And then underneath it says the following fingerprint key is not known by any other names. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? To continue connecting, type the word yes. If you don't want to connect, just type the word no. So I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard. And now I'll be prompted for my Kamatera server's password. This is the root password you chose during the creation of your n8n server. You'll need to type that in. Once you've typed that in, hit enter on your keyboard. You'll now be logged into your n8n server. Under system description is our n8n web UI link. We'll come to that later. First, we'll need to stop the n8n Docker container, remove it, and then create a new Docker container with the correct n8n setting so that n8n knows our server address. So I'm just going to open up my notepad, which contains the commands. I'll put these commands commands in the video description below so that you can copy and paste them into your command line interface. So first is the docker stop n8n true command. So I'm just going to highlight this and then I'm going to right click and click on copy. I'm going to open up my CMD terminal and then I'm going to right click to paste and hit enter. Let's do that for the next command, which is the delete or remove command. So I'm just going to highlight it, right click and click on copy, open up my terminal window, right click to paste and hit enter. And lastly, we'll need to create the new n8n Docker container, but we do need our server's IP address once again. So open back up your browser and copy your server's IP address one more time. Once you've copied it to your clipboard, I'm going to open back up my notepad, and everywhere I see server_IP address, I'm going to highlight it and then I'm going to right click on it and click on paste. And I'm going to replace that piece of text with my server's IP address. Repeat this 2 more times. So I'm going to highlight server_IP address, right click, click on paste, and then the one directly underneath it again, I'm going to highlight it, right click, and then click on paste. Once that's done, highlight everything from where it says docker run-d. So I'm just going to highlight everything all the way to the bottom here to where it says docker.n8n.io/n8n. Once you've highlighted all of that, right click on it and click on copy. Again, this command will be in the video description below. Just remember to replace server_IP address with the server IP address of your Kamatera server. Once you've copied the command to your clipboard, open back up your terminal window, right click to paste and hit enter on your keyboard. Give that a couple of minutes for the n8n Docker container to start, and then what we'll do next is we'll need to access our n8n web UI. To do this, look up in your CLI terminal window to where it says system description and copy the link that starts with HTTP and ends with the port 5678. Highlight it and then right click to copy it. This is how it works to copy in the CLI on Windows CMD. Once you've copied it to your clipboard, open back up your browser, open up a new tab, right click in the server address bar at the very top and click on paste. Once you've done that, hit enter on your keyboard. You'll now be taken to your n8n instance. You'll need to set up your owner account, which is basically the admin account of your n8n site. Pick an email address, so I'm just going to enter my email address now. Next, pick a first name, so I'm just going to call myself, of course, Websplaining, and then my last name is going to be YT, which is short for YouTube. The last thing we need to do is enter a password for our n8n owner account. So I'm just going to enter one now, and then all that's left to do is to click on next. When you first create an n8n owner account, you'll be greeted with the customize n8n to you window. Here you'll be greeted with a questionnaire to help you tailor your n8n instance to you. What best describes your company? Click on the drop down arrow. For this video demo, I'm going to be going with education. Which role best describes you? I'm going to go with customer support. Who will your automations mainly be for? Myself. How big is your company? Less than 20 people. How did you hear about n8n? I don't remember exactly, but let's go with YouTube and then click on get started. You'll then be greeted with a window that says get paid features for free forever. This gives you the option of getting a license key sent to your email address that gives you advanced workflow options such as advanced debugging, execution search and tagging, and folders to organize your workflows. You do have the option to skip it, but it's free, so you might as well click on send me a free license key. By default, your owner account's email address will already be pre-populated for you. If you want to use a different email, you can enter a new one in here. Once you're ready, click on send me a free license key. Now it shouldn't take too long. The license key is on the way to my email inbox. It should be very fast. My inbox should change from 1 to 2, and there we go, it's already done. So if I click on my latest email in my inbox, you can see it's from n8n and it says your free n8n license key to unlock selected paid features. The license key is right here. I'm just going to left click and highlight it, right click and click on copy, open back up my n8n instance, and then I'm going to click on usage and plan. To unlock the paid features, I'll need to enter my activation key, so click on that, right click in the box and click on paste to paste in your activation key and then click on activate. Your license key is now activated and I'm now on the community edition of n8n and that's registered. Great, so n8n is now set up and we're ready to start creating our n8n AI agent in our workflow. To create a new workflow, click on the back arrow next to settings here and you'll be taken to the overview section, which is the home section of your n8n instance. n8n asks you, what do you want to build? Of course, we want to build a workflow, so click on build a workflow. Click on the plus symbol that says add first step. In the search box, we're going to search for a specific n8n node. The node is called agent, so type agent. Once you've typed that in, click on AI agent at the top. You'll then be greeted with this window. We're not going to change anything in this window. We're simply going to click on the X here. We're now back to our workflow and you can see we've got 2 nodes. The node on the left says when chat message received and the node on the right is for our AI agent. We're going to be building the most basic AI agent chatbot. For that, we'll need to add a chat model. So where it says chat model, click on the the plus symbol, and then you'll need to locate the AI agent chat model that you would like to use. Now, I like the large language models or LLMs from Anthropic, so I'm going to be going with the Anthropic chat model. In the parameters tab, look for where it says credentials and then click on set up a credential. In here, you'll need to pay attention to the API key. So we'll need to grab an API key from the Claude console. To do this, I'm going to go to my tab that contains my Claude console. If you don't already have a Claude console account or Anthropic account, you'll need to create one. Once you've done that, make sure you're in API keys. To create an API key, you'll need to click on create key. Give your key a name, so I'm going to call it n8n, and then I'm going to click on add. Once that's done, you'll need to save your API key, which is this alphanumerical code of numbers, letters, and dashes. It starts with SK. I'm just going to click on copy key to copy this entire key. Now, before proceeding and entering this into your n8n AI agent, it's good to make a backup of it. So I'm going to open back up my text editor here. I'm going to click on the plus symbol to create a new notepad text document, and then I'm going to right click and click on paste. And there we go, we've made a backup now. Once we've backed up the key, open back up your browser and go back to your n8n workflow. In the API key section, paste in the API key. Once that's done, click on save and then click on the X. For the model, you can change it if you want by clicking on the drop down arrow, and then you have a list of all the latest models that you can pick from. I'm going to leave it as Claude Sonnet 4.6. Once you've chosen the model, click on the X to go back to your n8n workflow. Great, you can see we've got a new node here that has our AI model provider name. The next thing we need to do is add a memory node to our AI agent. To do this, click on the plus symbol underneath memory. We're going to make a simple beginner memory node. You also have other memory options here, but I'm going to go with simple memory. You can make some changes in here if you want, such as contacts window length. Currently by default is set to 5. You can change that if you want. It's just how many past interactions the model receives as context. I think a good base to start is 5, so I'm going to leave that as it is, and then I'm going to click on the X. In the n8n workflow, we can test if our AI agent is working as expected. To do this, click on open chat and then type your message. So I'm going to type, "Hi, how are you?" question mark, and then hit enter. n8n will then execute the workflow that you've just made, and there we go. I've got a response from my AI agent which says, "Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you doing? Is there something I can help you with today?" So you can see my input right here, and you can see the output of the AI agent. Great, so everything's working as expected. I'm going to click on hide chat. Once you're satisfied with your n8n workflow for your AI agent, the next thing we need to do is to edit the node that says when chat message received. To do this, hover over that node and then click on the 3 horizontal dots. Then click on open. In here, we're going to make our AI agent available for embedding. To do this, you'll need to make the chat publicly available. To do this, click on the toggle to do that. Once it turns from grey, black to green, it means it's now publicly available. However, by default, it's on a hosted chat mode. We need to change that by clicking on the drop down arrow underneath mode and choosing the embedded chat option, which allows our AI agent to be chatted through a widget embedded in another page or by calling a webhook. So I'm going to click on embedded chat to select it. Underneath that, it says follow the instructions here and then a hyperlink text to embed the chat in your web page, or just call the webhook URL at the top of this section. Chat will be live once you publish this workflow. So the webhook URL is this one right here underneath chat URL. This is very important as this is our n8n webhook that pulls our AI agent workflow onto our website. This webhook chat URL needs to be added to a code snippet. The code snippet is available at the hyperlink text here that says here. I'm going to click on here and then a new tab will then open. It takes you to an npm package called @n8n/chat. In here, scroll down until you locate the code snippet. The code snippet is right here underneath CDN embed. It starts with the href link here, so I'm just going to highlight it from the back arrow all the way down to the script forward arrow. I'm going to right click on the highlighted HTML code snippet and click on copy. Once done, I'm going to open up my notepad again, a new tab again, right click and click on paste. For the webhook URL, we're going to replace your_production_webhook_URL with our chat URL available in our n8n instance. So I'm just going to go back to the tab that contains my n8n workflow, and I'm going to copy this chat URL webhook by clicking on it to copy it to my clipboard. You can see that is now copied to my clipboard by the notification at the bottom right hand corner. Once it's copied, open back up your notepad or text document, highlight your_production_webhook URL, right click on it and click on paste. Once you've done that, highlight it all, right click and click on copy. This piece of code is now ready to be added onto your website by editing your HTML code. Now, because we are now now living in an AI world, I can get an AI coding assistant to do that for me. But before we do that, let me just show you the website that I'm going to be embedding this AI agent. So my website is called Black Swan. It's on the following IP address, which is a completely different server to my n8n instance. It's a simple one-page website, and the AI agent will be a little circle here at the bottom right. Like I said, I'm going to be using an AI coding assistant. That coding assistant is called OpenCode. So I'm going to open back up my PuTTY terminal window where I've logged in via SSH to that server that contains my website, and I've already asked the coding assistant to create me a website and launch that website by deploying it to an Nginx web server. And I've already pre-typed in a prompt that I want OpenCode to do for me. So I've told it to embed into the live website it just built an AI agent using the following code snippet. And the code snippet is the one I just copied and the one I just edited with my n8n chat URL link. To paste in OpenCode, I'm going to need to press Shift on my keyboard and right click to paste. And there we go, I've pasted in 8 lines, which is the HTML code snippet. Now I've got my prompt ready to go. If you wanted to do that manually by editing your HTML code on your website, you can do that also. However, of course, AI is just more convenient these days. So now that my prompt is ready, I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard, and OpenCode will begin embedding the n8n AI agent chatbot. It's asking for some permissions, so I'm going to use my arrow key to select allow always. I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to confirm that by hitting enter. And there we go. OpenCode says done. The n8n AI chat agent is now embedded. Visit the following URL address. The chat widget will appear as a floating button on the bottom right of the page connected to your webhook URL. So all I'm going to do is open up my Google Chrome browser, and before I hit the refresh button, I actually forgot to publish my workflow. So I'm just going to go back to my n8n workflow instance, and I'm still in the node that says when chat message received. I'm just going to click on the X here to close it. Once in the overview section of your workflow, you need to look to the very top. Click publish. Give your workflow a name. So I'm going to go with version 1. You can give a description if you want. If you don't want, just simply click on publish. And there we go. The workflow has now been published. I'm just going to click on got it. And now if we go back to our website that has the AI agent chatbot embedded in it and hit the refresh button. Once done, look to the bottom right and click on the AI agent chatbot speech bubble. You should then see a text box and the AI agent greeting you, "Hi there, my name is Nathan. How can I assist you today?" Now you can change your AI agent's welcome message or greeting message in the n8n workflow. However, I'm going to leave it with the default welcome message. And then all you need to do to communicate with your AI agent is type something in here. So let's ask it a question. I'm going to ask it, what is 9 plus 10? If you know this meme already, then you know the answer is 21, not 19. Let's see if the AI agent has a sense of humor. In this case, it doesn't. Anyway, you can see it's working as expected. And that pretty much concludes this video on how to deploy n8n on a Kamatera VPS, create your first workflow, build an AI agent, and embed that agent on your website. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, comment down below, and most importantly of all, subscribe to support the channel. I'll see you on the next video.
Why is it so hard to let you go?